Are we live? We're live? Okay, here we go. All right, we're back for another Friday financial wrap-up without Mr. Michael Zuber. Michael and Olivia, I would say he's on vacation, but he says he doesn't go on vacation anymore because every day is Saturday. They're on a very well-deserved travel, having a great time. So I get to be your guide and lead. Let's get right into the Friday Financial News Wrap-Up. This is for April, I almost said March, April the 16th, 2026. Let's get, a lot going on, right? A lot going on this week, a crazy week. Let's get right into the show notes. The biggest story of the week, the biggest story of the last 6 weeks has been, no doubt, President Trump, Iran, the Middle East, the war. And so what did President Trump say this week? We are close to being over. Now, this was interesting. I don't know if a lot of people saw this coming, right? So they're open up the Strait of Hormuz. And then so what happens? We have the ceasefire. There's supposed to be this peace negotiation. Vice President Vance, he's negotiating. It doesn't work out. And so now what happens? They won't open up the Strait of Hormuz. Well, guess what? We're going to do a blockade.
Now you just can't leave.
So now they're blocking their fuel, their oil from coming out of there. And so now what's the next move? Well, according to reports, according to sources, if you're following the story, now basically for Iran, they're now basically very near capacity in their storage facilities. So one would think if they're near capacity for storage, they're probably going to have to start moving this oil and figure it out. So it's very interesting. Now, if we take a look at Wall Street, if we take a look at the stock market, what do they think of this war? Is the war really close to being over? Let's take a look. If we look at the S&P 500, it closed out at over 7,000 yesterday on Thursday, the end of business on Thursday, the 16th. And I mean, even if we look at the headlines, I mean, the stock market looks like it's just going to start ripping again. A lot of interesting news, right? A lot of people talking about an AI bubble and such, but just looking at the headlines, they talk about in terms of hitting new highs in terms of the stock market, the tech sector is pulling back. Still a lot of concern. I don't think we're through the woods, but clearly the stock market believes President Trump and that, hey, guess what? We're probably close to the end of this and that things are going to begin to normalize. Let's hope. Also, we're going to take a look and see what's happening in the mortgage market. But before we look at the mortgage market, I thought this was interesting. Michael reported on this yesterday. And he was, again, he's traveling. He was in the hotel. He reported on. He talked a lot about, seeing this movie before. And I clearly remember the dot-com bubble. And, Michael's headline yesterday on the Daily Financial News was, are we in the beginning of an AI bubble, right? AI, artificial intelligence, right? All the buzz, you can't avoid it. It's probably dominated the headlines. Even I would say closely rivaling the war in the Middle East, everything that's going on. By the way, there's still a war in Russia and Ukraine. Nobody talks about, but very interesting. AI is dominating the headlines. And this was the interesting piece, is that Michael reported this, and I didn't see it in my headline news when I was doing my research. The shoe company, Allbirds. Now, I've never bought a pair of Allbirds, not necessarily my style, but who knows? Maybe they're very comfortable. Allbirds is a shoe company that is now becoming an AI company. And their stock shot up based on the press release that they are now an AI company, a shoe company that's now an AI company. And so to Michael's point, and again, he knows this far better than I do. He was working in Silicon Valley when all this happens, but I remember I was, selling real estate and I was, buying some AOL stock and, things of that nature. And I remember the dot-com bust as well. This feels like and looks like again, one of those things where we're starting to see companies say, oh, we're not a shoe company. We're an AI company. Oh, we're not a software company. We're an AI company. Oh, we're not a dog food company. We're an AI company. We're not a pet store supply company. We're an AI company. Very interesting time. So something to keep an eye on. I'm sure AI, it's everywhere. Very interesting. Allbirds. If you own a pair of Allbirds, would love to hear about them in the comments. Are they comfortable? All right. I'm a Air Jordan. I wear a lot of Jordans. They're not the most comfortable though. The comfort shoe for a male over 50 who's a landlord is New Balance, just so you guys know. And in fact, some of you know this, as an aspiring, want to live into my 70s and 80s and be that landlord with the Velcro New Balances. So anyway, let's keep going. Let's take a look at the mortgage market. Now, when we look at the mortgage market, it's clear that, yes, maybe it's true. President Trump is right in that it is closing time and that we are going to close out on this war. If we take a look at rates, 6.32 as of the opening on Friday morning, rates have softened up. And so if we look at a chart, let me grab the chart here for you. If we look at this chart, you'll see like this is basically for the month of March. You know, basically at the end of February, we were at 5.99. And then, of course, as this war has taken off, we shot up to about a high, an average of 6.64. So the fact that we are trending back down approximately 30 basis points, 30 plus or minus basis points, that's all good news. And so again, the trend looks like it's broken. It looks like now over the last 2.5 weeks, we've basically begun to trend down. And hopefully that'll continue. Hopefully, again, that this war gets closed out and we can see rates continue to soften up. Are we going to see 5.99? I don't know. We'll see. But anything trending down is a good sign for housing. Let's continue. Also, too, as we're talking about interest rates, I want to just share this. Michael reported, I didn't do a lot of research on it, but Michael did report in the Daily Financial News. He talked about the Fed. You know, the Fed is in a very tough position because in their position right now, most people are saying there's not going to be any rate cuts, Fed rate cuts for the remainder of the year. Some people said, well, no, there may be rate cuts at the end of the year. Michael and I have talked over the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, if you watch the Friday show, that we're probably going to end up in some form of a recession, very likely because of what's going on in the Middle East, the Strait of Hormuz, oil. But the big thing I want you to see here is this, the chart. If we take a look at oil prices, and this is really, I think, where the Fed's hands are going to be tied. This is what Michael's been teaching and talking about this whole time. I'm just listening to Michael and I'm surfing his wave. I'm riding his coattail, right? So if we look at the price of oil, this is a 1-year chart. This is a 1-year chart, what's happened over the last year. You can see it basically closed out on Thursday right at about $93 a barrel. Okay, we were just last week bouncing around at 106, 110, 112 a barrel. Over $100 a barrel, really bad news. I know that if you were also paying attention to the show, Michael and I talked a lot about, I was just getting his perspective. Hey, if this goes on for the next 3 to 6 weeks or the next, 2 or 3 months, what happens? Michael said we would, and I believe him. I 1000% believe him. He said, hey, we'll probably go to $150 a barrel, $200 a barrel. Well, it feels like that's not happening. So that's all really good news. But if we look at over $100 a barrel, we closed out yesterday at $93 a barrel. It looks like, again, it's softening up. But the thing I want to show you is this. This is a 1-year chart. And if we look over the last year, oil's basically bounced around between basically $55 a barrel and $70 a barrel over the last 12 months. If we average it out, and I don't know exactly what the average is, but just, you don't have to be great at math to know what this is, if we look at where it's at, it's basically been averaging out somewhere around 60, 65 bucks a barrel. Even at $93 a barrel, that's not going to fall and just come back down to $60 a barrel over the next couple of weeks. It's probably going to take months, maybe a couple of months. And again, this is just information from Michael. It's probably going to take several months. And I like what Michael says. He says this, he has this term, he says, where it will fall like a feather, right? It's not just going to come straight back down to $70 or $60, $70 a barrel. There's no way that they can ramp up production for oil to do it that fast. So here's, what does it really mean? Okay, what does it really mean? Inflation, higher for longer. We're probably going to see the Fed not cut rates. Even some people said the Fed may even be forced to increase rates. I don't know, hopefully not. But ultimately, we might be in the same scenario like we've been over the last several years, where rates, because the Feds are their hands are tied, they probably will not come in cutting rates, and that we're probably going to see rates continue higher for longer. So very, very interesting to see what happens with oil. Very, very interesting to see if the ceasefire, to see if what's going to happen in the Strait of Hormuz. Again, we are not through the woods. And let's continue. In wrapping up the show, I just want to put an emphasis. There's an incredible opportunity, again, for the one rental at a time community, for people that are just getting started, people that are buying their first rental, their next rental property. This is interesting because there's still a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace. We're seeing a lot more inventory on the market nationwide. We're seeing where properties are sitting on the market for longer. We're seeing price reductions. We're seeing negotiation on new home builders for buy downs on interest rates, buy downs on closing costs. And by the way, all of that was already happening before the war. All of that was already happening before the war. And what I would say, just personally being in the market, as a broker and basically wearing all the different hats, the market just feels like it's just tightened up a little bit. The spring market was not what we expected. We thought the spring market would unlock. We'd see a lot more sellers. There have not been a lot of sellers coming to market. A lot of people are pausing. A lot of people are nervous. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. And I'll tell you, in the midst of uncertainty, in the midst of chaos, comes a lot of opportunity. So if you are looking to buy your first rental property, your next rental property, get out there, do the research, know your buy box, get out there and look at a lot of properties and really figure out that even now, I think rather than be satisfied with a good deal, and again, these are just Michael's terminology, so you know this, we're not looking for good deals. And I would even say beyond, we're not just looking for great deals. We're looking for grand slam home run deals. Deals that absolutely are no-brainers. Even if things go wrong with your rehab, even if things go wrong with your tenants, even if you have to pay a little bit more for your financing, you are still going to make great money. You're going to make great money with bad numbers, meaning even if you have a few hiccups, a few surprises, you're going to be able, I believe, if you're patient, and especially for, a lot of the people I know, the realtor hybrid, investor agents, that's my specialty. I have a coaching community where we have a lot of realtors and real estate professionals who are also investors, or vice versa, investors, who are, going deep down the rabbit hole. There is a lot of opportunity. There is a lot of opportunity out there. And I think you just want to be able to buy better, negotiate better. I think the prices are softening up. And then also too, I'll say, even for realtors, if you're working with buyers, be a great resource for them and advise them and really understand, what is the opportunity? Is this property competitive or is it not competitive? If you are a listing agent, and I'll tell you, I've got listings right now. I've got properties where, the market is soft. If you're a listing agent, you want to get ahead of the price reductions. You want to get ahead of what may be coming in short sales. I hear a lot of realtors talking about short sales are back. Every realtor I'm talking to, that I coach or people that I'm bumping into, they're like, yeah, I've got 2 or 3 short sales going. I've got this going. I've got that going. That wasn't normal 6 months ago, 18 months ago. I didn't know anybody doing short sales. Today, everybody I know who are realtors, who are normal realtors, that are taking listings, they all have 2 or 3 short sales going. Okay. So what does that tell me? That tells me that we're probably going to see pre-foreclosures continue to rise. That's also been a headline, not a big headline this week, but pre-foreclosures, there's definitely a lot more of them coming. I just want to say that there's an opportunity. And again, if you're a seller, this also might be an opportunity for you to exit the market. If you are dealing with a probate, estate, inheritance property, whatever the case may be, this could be a good time for you to reposition, cash in your chips, because who knows what the next 3 to 6 to 12 months is going to bring, and then even beyond. A lot of talk about recession, what that might look like. Private credit, I didn't even touch it. That's been something Michael's been talking about for the last probably 6-8 weeks heavily. Again, it seems to keep hitting the big headline and then getting swept away. There's a lot of uncertainty. Also, I didn't talk about the job market. The job market, again, very, very soft. Michael's emphasized how important the job market is. And then, of course, how does AI now, layoffs, you're seeing a lot of corporate layoffs, things of that nature. And again, this is not meant to be doom and gloom. This is meant to be awareness. What's going on in the market? How can you position you, your family, your loved ones? How can you position yourself to win? Not just the next 3 to 5 months between now and the end of the year, but how do you really set yourself up over the next 3 to 5 years so that you over the next decade can really set you and your family up? So that's the conversation worth having. Folks, if you have any interest, get involved with Michael's school community. It's the best $20 you'll ever spend. I don't have the StreamYard ticker here, but you go to school, SKOOL, school.com. Look for one rental at a time. It's $20. It would be the best $20 you invest into yourself this weekend. Folks, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Please comment. I'm serious. Does anybody have a pair of those shoes? I want to know if they're just amazingly comfortable and brilliant because apparently they have AI. They're powered by AI. So anyway. All right, guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. See you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.